Hi friends, it's Deb from Bowl Me Over. Welcome back to my kitchen. I think you're really going to like today's recipe. It's great for kids. It's a hearty recipe. It's an easy casserole, and it has everything you have at your house currently. And that is a cheeseburger French fry casserole. Yes, we're going to take your favorite cheeseburger and turn it into a casserole dish. So let me walk you through the ingredients that you're going to need today for this recipe. We're going to use ground beef. We're going to season it with some Montreal Steak Seasoning. We're going to have an onion. The recipe calls for 1 small onion, but we're going to use just half of this one, so just kind of eyeball it. We're going to need some ketchup. Every good burger has ketchup and mustard, so we have that. We're going to also use some seasoning, some Worcestershire seasoning, cream of mushroom soup, cream of cheddar cheese soup. We're going to shred some cheese, and of course, to top the casserole, French fries. You can use leftover French fries. You can use string French fries. You can use the swirly fries. You can use the regular cut. I personally like the crinkle cut because I just think it looks kind of pretty on the top of the casserole. So that is all we're going to need for this recipe. Let me get it set up, clean up my workspace a little bit, and we'll get to cooking. Okay, so I switched things up a little bit. I brought out my little heating unit here. Hopefully it's not too loud. I'll talk a little extra loudly so you can hear me. But I have this set over a medium heat, medium to medium high heat. And we're going to start off just by browning the ground beef. I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. I'm going to break up the ground beef just a little bit so we can get it started browning. And before that gets too far in the process, I'm going to slice up my onion. And again, for this recipe, we're going to use just half an onion. And we'll hopefully keep all the little onion pieces off to the side. Okay, so when I was doing the research for this casserole, I admit I was like, this one's a stretch. A cheeseburger French fry casserole. And you know, like, again, I do a lot of recipe development, and I always feel like Goldilocks in the Three Bears. You know, the first time it was too dry, blah, blah, blah. And but it really helps define the flavors. And this one, when I sent it to one of my girlfriends who does some taste testing and stuff for me, she goes, "This one is surprisingly delicious." That was her words, surprisingly delicious. And it is, because it's like all your favorite things in a casserole dish that you can feed your whole family. And it's, you know, it's minimally inexpensive too. So like that part even more. I was looking for my little scooper thing. Okay, so we have our beef browning in our skillet. And before it gets too far along, I'm going to add in my onions because I want them to brown along with the ground beef in here. Let me give it another quick stir. Just kind of move it around. And you can see it there. It's just doing its thing, browning up nicely. And that is perfect. What I like about this as well is the prep is pretty darn quick. And you got to love that when you get dinner on the table quickly. You know, let me just clean up my mess a little bit. That would just be better. Better for everyone involved. Put this over here. Put that there. Wonderful. Okay. So we're going to brown this until there's not any pink left. And in the meantime, I'm just going to quickly shred my cheese. For this recipe, you could use the pre-shredded cheese. That would be just fine. But let me just finish shredding my cheese. I'll be right back. Okay, so we've shredded our cheese. Our beef is browned. Now it's time to season it. So we're going to add in all of our good stuff. Some Worcestershire sauce. And hang on a quick sec here. Some ketchup. All the good stuff you'd put on your burger, right? Sorry, I'm so terribly left-handed. I can't really do this where you can see, but there you go. Mustard and Montreal Steak Seasoning. The reason I like to use this Montreal Steak Seasoning, I think that it's a great shortcut because, you know, I could get salt and pepper and garlic powder and onion powder and all the things. But when you use the shortcut of the seasoning, you really don't need to. So there's that. Perfect. Okay. Stack all that up. So that is our seasoning. Let me give that a quick stir. And for this recipe, oh gosh, oops, sorry, had a little hot piece overboard there. I just love how quickly it all comes together, though. It's just super simple. In fact, I'm going to turn it down a little bit as we're letting these flavors kind of meld together. Now we're going to add the mushroom soup. And then next comes the cheddar cheese soup. You could also, you know, it'd be really good, would be to use queso. That would be super yummy. And add a little bit more flavor too. I always try to keep like flavors to a minimum, or ingredients to a minimum, but with the optimal flavor. So if you had some leftover queso, this would be a great place to use it up in. Oh, you know what I was going to say is the ground beef. I used a really lean ground beef because I like I like to not pay for water for one. And a lot of times with the ground beef that isn't quite so lean, there's a lot of fat, there's a lot of water in it. A lot of flavor too, so you can't argue that. But for this recipe, just because I knew we'd be, I don't know, I just prefer the lean. So, and obviously Sammy says hi. So let me, what we're going to do is mix all of this together. And that's perfect. I'm going to turn this down and kind of let it simmer for just a minute. Clean up my workspace, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we've let this simmer for right about 5 minutes. I've stirred it occasionally. It's this flavorful, meaty mixture right now that's super cheesy. But let's make it a little cheesier, okay? Time for a casserole dish. Spraying it with nonstick cooking spray. Makes cleanup so much easier. We love that. And we're going to take this big pan of goodness and just spoon it right into our casserole dish. Let's see here. It's always hard to work backwards. And some days more challenging than others, I might add. Okay, perfect. Let me see if I can get a little bit more of that. Okay, wonderful. Okay, perfect. And I'm going to take a spatula and just smooth this out a little bit. And that's perfect. To the top of my casserole dish, I'm going to add the cheese. I might have grated a little bit more than the 2 cups the recipe calls for, but you know, a little cheese makes everything better, right? Because you got to have cheese on your hamburger. It is a cheeseburger French fry casserole after all. And I should add too, don't forget, if you didn't catch the ingredients, they're down below. So just open up the screen, it'll show you the rest. So to the top of the casserole, we're going to add our fries. And again, I chose crinkle cut French fries just because I like the way they look. I think they look really pretty that way. And it's gonna end up being maybe half the bag to the top of the casserole dish. You want to put them in, you can overlap them a little bit, not a whole lot. You don't want to pile it completely up. The first time I made it, I put the whole bag on there, and while it was delicious, it was a little much. So that's why you can do as I say and not as I do, as I've learned as I've made this casserole dish. So, okay, I was like, do I cover this? Do I not? This one goes uncovered into the oven. We want it to be uncovered because we want to crisp up the fries. If we put foil over the top, the fries would be soggy. So let's put this in the oven at 375. And it takes, like everything's cooked except for the French fries. So it takes about 25 minutes at 375. But we want this to be hot and bubbly and those fries golden brown. So I'm going to put this in the oven, and we'll see you in about a half hour or so. Okay, guys, my oven just went off. Let me grab that casserole out real quick. Check this out. Can you hear how hot and bubbly that is? Isn't that awesome? The French fries got nice and golden brown. Hang on real quick. Let me get a spoon. And I might add, this is hotter than the blazes right here. Now, every good hamburger, of course, comes with pickles, lettuce, and tomatoes. So I have some of that sliced up to put on top. You can or not. That's totally up to you. I've served it both ways. The pickles, though, make a really good, they cut through the richness of the casserole. Sounds kind of silly, but it really makes a nice big difference. Isn't that yummy? Cool. So a few pickles, a little bit of lettuce, some tomatoes. And of course, this is hot, hot, hot. So let's give it a try real quick. And remember, it's got the French fries on there. And you don't have French fries, use tater tots. It would be that easy. Make sure I get a pickle in there. Big fan of pickles. Beyond the fact this is scorching hot. It's really good. The cheese may seem a little much, like 2 cups of cheese on the top. I swear it just like makes this whole thing super good, cheesy goodness. It's an easy casserole. It's a kid-friendly casserole. Like, who would not love this? It's awesome. I hope you give it a try, okay? Thanks so much for following the blog. I really appreciate you. You can find me on the blog at www.bowl-me-over.com. Of course, Facebook, Pinterest. Love it if you interact with the video here. Please like and subscribe. That way you'll be notified whenever I send out new videos. I think it's notified. But I do set videos as premieres. And because I do that, it sends out like notification before they go out. So you'll be the first in the know with new videos. We're doing a couple a week now, in addition to the shorts. So I'd love to see you be part of the community. Thanks so much for following. Have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you soon.